Nearly every law enforcement agency has a reserve police officer program or sheriff's deputy program, or maybe even some other type of reserve program. Volunteers who fill the gaps for police and sheriff's departments. But a reserve officer shooting in Oklahoma has at least one Dallas County commissioner wanting to know more about these reserve programs in Dallas County. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is in the Dallas newsroom with the story. Even constables here in Dallas County.
Right. Commissioner John Wiley Price says the reserve programs are in fact now in his focus after what happened up in Oklahoma, a reserve sheriff's deputy shooting and killing a man thinking he was reaching for his taser. Price wants to know, in terms of the reserves locally, who they are and what they do for the county. The shooting and killing of a Tulsa, Oklahoma man by a 73-year-old reserve Tulsa County Sheriff's deputy, bringing local reserve programs under review.
I have a concern about the Sheriff's Deputy Reserve Program, the Constable's Reserve Deputy Program.
Price wants to know how many reserve deputies are there in the county, the age and ethnicity, and whether they are commissioned Texas peace officers.
Are they compliant with all of the TCLOS, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement regulations for, quote, reserve? And then are they, quote, fit for duty?
How many do you have?
I have 9.
Precinct 4 Constable Roy Williams says his 9 reserves
They are required to maintain the same number of hours as the regulars. The only exception that they don't have to do, the only thing they don't have to do is the physical agility course.
And I don't think they're part of any task forces or any so-called, quote, sting operations, but I don't know that.
Well, none of our officers are used as undercover. Most of our officers are used in doing a lot of work that is pretty routine. When they do go on patrol or traffic or anything like that, they're usually with another full-time employee.
There are currently 34 Dallas County Sheriff's Reserve deputies, the program that started back in the 1950s. The Sheriff's Posse program, another, manned with volunteers like reserve deputies. Price wants to know about it as well, and the reserves who work as bailiffs in various courts.
The important thing is how we train them and how we use them. We have to have accountability, and we have to be able to verify their training. And they need to have the same training that the regular officers do. They don't use it as much, but they have to have the same kind.
Dallas County bonds those individuals. So if we're bonding them, we have a right to know, who's carrying.
So the review begins tomorrow with the sheriff making her presentation to Commissioner's Court. It's expected the various constables will make their reserves review in the coming weeks, Steve.
All right, Sean, have you had I don't know, do you expect pushback? Because a lot of times there's going to be pushback, and maybe let's not have so much scrutiny. It doesn't sound like it's asking a lot. What are your feelings with the law enforcement community? Yeah,
I spoke with Constable Ben Adamczyk today. He was happy to comply. I didn't hear back from one of the constables that I reached out to, but the sheriff's happy to comply. She says that these men and women who operate and function as reserves provide a valuable asset to the law enforcement and to the county, free, because of course they're volunteers. And so there's no cost to the taxpayers to have that extra manpower for the work that they are doing. The questions that Mr. Price wants to know, again, focus really on fit for duty and state compliance, and what roles are they in? Are they part of a sting operation or undercover, or as the case was there in Oklahoma, it was an undercover buy for guns, and this officer was part of the perimeter setup behind that incident.
All right, Sean. We'll see. Thank you very much. Thanks.